Hey guys, how you doing? This is Coach Scott. Want to do another video to prepare you guys for AP Chemistry. So really what we need to talk about is how do we name compounds, right? Now we talked about two type that we're really more deal with more than anything else. One is an ionic compound, right? Which is an electrostatic attracted um, compound between two elements, between two ions. The other one's the covalent compounds, and I'll make another video on that. So how do we write the formula for the ionic compounds? That's what we're going to talk about now. And how do we name it once we have, if we're looking at a formula for the compound? Well, first of all, we need to determine if it's ionic or covalent. So how do we tell if it's ionic? If it has a polyatomic ion, which got a couple of these on the back of your periodic table that I gave you, right? List of them, like chromate, dichromate, nitrite, sulfate, one of those. If it's got a polyatomic ion, it's ionic. If the compound contains a metal and a nonmetal, write that down. Polyatomic ion. And of course, those you're just going to have to memorize those, or you can look at the formula and figure it out. And if it has a metal and a nonmetal, like sodium, calcium, something on the left. Group 1 and 2 are one of the transition metals. Non-metals, they're on the right, 15, 16, 17. Okay. So we're going to look at some of those. And our first rule on what to do with this is one, name the cation. That's the positively charged metallic ion. So name the cation. Cation. It's going to be the same as what the element's name is. If you've got sodium, Na, it's sodium. If you got barium, it's barium. Now, usually these are group 1 to group 13 elements. Okay? We just use their names. If you've got a transition or a post-transition metal, those in the middle, in the D block, all right, they're going to be a little different. We'll talk about those. But for those, they can have different charges and be the same element. Group 1 and 2, 13 for the most part, are going to be what those groups are. Group 1 is going to be a +1. Group 2 is going to be a +2. Group 13 is going to be a +3, usually. The ones in the middle may not be that simple. There may be two to three forms of what those charges are. And for those, we use a Roman numeral, which I think is sort of easy because then that tells you what the charge is of that element. All right? And of course, if you're dealing with a polyatomic ion, there's not that many of the polyatomic cations. Ammonium is one of them. Again, look at your list, see what the charge is. That's a pretty easy one to remember, NH4 +1. So after we name the cation, then we got to name the, let's put the E in there, name the anion, which is the negatively charged ion. I can't spell. Okay. It's pretty simple. Okay. If you have a group 15, 16, 17, like oxygen, fluorine, drop the EN or the INE, and you're going to add IDE to it. So you have, instead of oxygen, oxide. Instead of fluorine, you have fluoride. Okay, so you just use the root, the primary root, the beginning of the name for that anion. Okay? Phosphate, phosphide, nitrogen, nitride. Now, if you've got a polyatomic ion that's on this sheet, use the name of it and go on with it. That's all you got to worry about. Okay? Name the cation, name the anion. So I'm going to pause for a minute, and we're going to work with some of these in practice. Okay, guys, so I've got some practice compounds up here. Let's look at the names first. So these are what we call binary compounds. There's just two components to it. So I see sodium. I look up at my periodic table, and I find the symbol for sodium. And I see it's in group 1, so I'm going to write down Na. Got to put it on draw. I'm going to put Na, capital Na. So that is a +1 charge. That's important. Then I look at the next name is chloride. Of course, we already talked about with the chloride. The root is chlor, so it's chlorine, it's Cl. And it's got a charge of -1. So we've got to balance the charges on these. So a +1 and a -1 is going to be a neutral charge. So that's going to be a Na1, NaCl1, or we would just write it as NaCl. Let's look at another one. So I got calcium. Okay, that's Ca. I looked at my periodic table. Okay, now that's got a plus, it's a group 2, so it's going to be a +2 charge. First one, group 1 and group 2, they all have about the same, they all have the same charge. Group 1 is +1, group 2 is +2. And the next part of that is fluorine. So let's find fluorine here real quick. So I got fluorine, that's an F. And I notice that it's a -1 charge. And this is going to be a little different. So to balance this out, I'll need 2 fluorines. And one of the ways you can do this is you can take this and what we call crisscross. Take that one down there. Use red. And then take this 2. Crisscross method, that works too. But if you think about it, you're trying to balance out the charges. You got a +2, so that means you need 2 -1s to balance it out. So now I would write that compound as CaF2. All right, let's look at another one. KBr, write it down. Potassium is in group 1. I'm just going to use the purple. +1. Bromine is in group 17, so that's going to be a -1. So I just write that as KBr. The charges balance out. All right, I didn't have the name, but I could see that. Look at this one. I got aluminum. Oh, so yeah, that's KBr. So that would be potassium. Sorry. Trying to write the name. Not bromine, bromide. All right. So this is aluminum and chlorine, Cl. Now aluminum is in group 13, right? So that means it's got a +3 charge. Chlorine is a group 17, it's got a -1 charge. So 2 ways I would be acceptable to me, and probably on the AP exam. You could write this as just plain old aluminum chloride. and be okay. Because there's only um, one state, charge state for aluminum. Okay. And this, now let's look at this one. This is going to be different. And I think these are easier because I don't have to remember which group these guys are in. I can just look at these Roman numerals and I know what the charge is on the iron. So I have iron 2 chloride. So I automatically know what that charge is. It's plus 2. The chlorine is in group 17, so I know it's minus 1. So to write this compound, I crisscross or know that I'm going to need 2 chlorines to balance out that charge. So what's the compound? FeCl2. How about copper 2 bromide? Same thing. Copper, Cu on the periodic table. I know it's plus 2 because it's got the Roman numeral there. And bromine is Br, and it's group 17, it's minus 1. So I need 2 -1 charges. I need 2 bromines to cancel that out. So of course that would be CuBr2. Quite acceptable. Now we're getting into the polyatomic ions. Nitrate is not nitride. Ammonium, it's not ammonia. So I look on my back of my sheet and I see that ammonium, I got to look it up, is NH4 plus 1. Nitrate is NO3 1 minus. All right, so I see that these charges cancel out. So I would write the compound like so. NH4, NO3. Done. May not always be that easy. We'll see. So I got calcium carbonate. Calcium, I know that's Ca. And it's in the second group, so it's going to be a plus 2. And then let's see, CO3 carbonate, CO3. And that's got a 2 minus. By the way, that's chalk or marble. Minus 2. Again, the charges cancel out. Ca, CO3. Not hard. Ooh. So I got sodium Na3PO4. So I'm writing the compound for that. I want to make sure that everything's right. So I know Na is plus 1. PO4. Now I can tell you what PO4's charge is because of that plus 1. There's only PO4 there, phosphate. So that means that charge is minus 3. I backward figured. They needed 3 plus 1 charges to balance it out. But I looked up PO4 on here and it's phosphate. So I'm going to write sodium phosphate. There's the name. Ooh, we got something different here. I've got calcium. I know it's plus 2. I got NO3. I look on my sheet. I got 2 of those. So I can figure out, okay, I needed 2 of these nitrates to balance out that charge. So that's got to be a minus 1 charge because of that 2 right there. It's telling me there's 2 nitrates. So now I just got to write the compound down. Calcium, it's group 2, so I don't have to worry about a Roman numeral, and write the name, nitrate. All right, guys, that's it. Now, I didn't have to write anything with Roman numerals because I didn't have any transition cations, transition metal cations. But you would do the same thing. You can figure out these charges or these names from looking at the charges. All right? Practice some. If you need some practice problems, you can do what I did. hey, Grok, or hey, Chat, give me some ionic compounds to practice writing formulas. It'll give you as many as you want. So anyway, Hullabaloo, connect, connect. We'll be coming back to school shortly. Sorry. See you guys.